the 12 Gauge Geek here from the Gaming Gulag. This is take 2 on the video. We got another one for you guys, and it's Salt and Sanctuary review. Is it worth playing in 2025? So, Salt and Sanctuary is a 2D Metroidvania platformer that takes big inspiration from Castlevania and Dark Souls. It is, in my opinion, the most 2D Souls-like game you guys are going to find. Nine Souls would be the most Sekiro-like, I think, but Salt and Sanctuary, Dark Souls. So, the game was developed by Ska Studios. It was released in March 15th of 2016 on PS4. 2 months later came to PC. 2 years after that came to Nintendo. So the game was pretty well received on all platforms from all the big major critics like IGN, Game Informer, Metacritic. They all gave it around the mid 80s. So the game, I would say, did I'm not sure the budget, I'm not sure how much they made, but it did pretty successful by, their standards and by gaming standards. And if people like me are still playing it to this day, I'd say it's pretty good. So I want to get into my review about the game and the pros. I'm going to start with the pros. Now the pros are the weapons, the armor, and the loot in the game are phenomenal. There are whips, there are axes, there are halberds, there are great swords, there's swords, I believe daggers, there's magic of, I believe, multiple different kinds, because I know there's magic that lends into faith, I believe it's called. It's like similar to Dark Souls faith. And then there's another type of magic. Now, I didn't really use any magic, me personally. I played big sword, big shield, and at times, I believe it was big hammers and axes because they're tied into one category. But those were really fun because just the weapons are massive, Like, they're taller than my character, and I'm over here one-handing them with a gigantic shield on the left hand. It's awesome. It feels like I'm playing Berserk in a 2D Metroidvania style. The bosses are another pro, albeit some of them are cons because they're hard as fuck. Witch of the Lake. But the mass majority are pros. They're really cool bosses. Each have their own different design, their own different mechanics that make them unique. There's a few copy paste, I believe like maybe 3 or 4 total that are similar to others, but the mass majority are all pretty unique. Some utilize verticality mechanics, others utilize being multiple bosses, or you have to hit a certain area of the boss. They're different sizes and speeds and power levels. They did a really great job with the boss variety in the game, and the mass majority are really fun to fight. The cons for the game. Cons, I would say, now it's not a major con, but the hazy mist on the map isn't the greatest, I feel. It's at times just a bit of a mess, it can appear like, and it's a little off-putting to newcomers, but it's something that I think grows on you. As well as, now it's unique in their regard, but they utilize a crystal mechanic around the game that you basically touch the crystal or interact with it, and now it lets your character basically flip gravity around to where you're walking on the ceilings instead of walking on the floors. So now you can traverse a different part of the map to, fulfill an objective or kill an enemy, find an extra piece of loot that's hiding up there. This is really cool, but at times can be janky. It can, cause the game to glitch a bit. I found my guy getting in several different glitches. I got stuck once. I can't remember how I got myself out necessarily. And I also believe that I got lost once because you have to do it in another massive area. so it's kind of hard to know exactly where to go, because the game, in traditional Dark Souls fashion, doesn't tell you anything. The story is cryptic. It's very mysterious. It's left in lore tabs, and it's something you kind of have to dig for and go out of your way to piece together. It's something that I didn't necessarily piece together myself, but the game aside from that was really fun. So you can get lost when using those crystals, and that's a bit of a con in my opinion. The level system tree is good. It's not a con. I would say I just wanted to bring it up. It's very massive. It can be daunting at first when you first stare at it or first, check it out. But it's good and it works, as intended, I would say. It definitely, you want to focus on one or two weapons mainly, because there's no way you're going to hit everything. I didn't think, that was really true in my first playthrough, but I could definitely see as I was leveling up and things were getting more scarce that I was going to have to respec some things to get things that I wanted. And even at the end of my playthrough, I could not struggle a bit, but I could see that I definitely should have put more points into my shield, because I use that a lot. And different shields offer different perks necessarily that make your gameplay and game through a lot easier. Like you fight a flame dragon at one point in the game, and when you use this shield and hold it up, it negates flame damage entirely and just makes that battle a much easier time. As well as when I was fighting the Tree of Man, I would say it was a massive perk to have, a massive win, and I really like that. They have a lot of loot and things like that to help you out. The game's difficulty. The game is hard, guys. It's definitely hard. It's not the hardest. I would say the bosses are harder than the platforming, as opposed to like a game like Blasphemous. I found platforming to be harder than the bosses at times. But the game can be difficult, but there are ways to mitigate the difficulty by, over leveling or doing your research, finding out what weapons, what armor. There's different, attributes on the armor that show different resistances and proficiencies. So you basically just want to do your due diligence and research and know who you're fighting and know what's going to help you out. And the game does a great job of giving you lots of different tools at your disposal to help mitigate the difficulty. So I wouldn't say don't let the difficulty put you off, because it's not the hardest game in the world. Aside from that, I do like they have a stamina and weight system that's similar to Dark Souls. You can fat roll, your rings help out with mitigating some of that depending on what you have, magic regeneration, this and that. The armor and all that is really good in that regard. The game does have some replay value. Now, I haven't beat the game. I'm one boss away. I just kind of got burnt out. But as far as replay value goes, I know you can NG plus multiple times, and there's a lot that'll lend into that replay value. So, aside from that, I just wanted to make this a quick short video and just, bring some light onto this game, let you guys know it is worth playing in 2025. It's a really cool game. It's really fun. I'd say to check it out. I picked it up on the Nintendo eShop for like $3.74. At that price, I put over 35 hours into the game. It's a no-brainer. It's really fun. If you're a huge fan of Dark Souls, if you're a huge fan of Metroidvanias like Castlevania, like Metroid, like Vigil the Longest Night, what is that one? It's gonna hit me here. Ender Lilies. Games like these. This game is a great addition to your library and just a great game to check out. It was a very small indie studio that made it. So, I love to give indie studios my business. And, yeah, that's it. That's my Salt and Sanctuary review. And if you guys like this, be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you don't miss out on our next video, and thanks for watching.